Now, before departing Senegal, President Obama met farmers and local entrepreneurs to discuss new technologies helping to raise the country's agricultural output. He said the U.S. will increase by $47 million its assistance for seeds and technology, while private companies will commit to invest $134 million in Senegal's agricultural system. For more perspective, I'm joined by Faustine Wabwire, Senior Foreign Assistant Policy Analyst, Bread for the World Institute. Ms. Wabwire, welcome to Africa 54.
Thanks for inviting me.
Let me start by asking you, how do you compare the U.S. Involvement or commitment in Africa in the sector of agriculture as compared to other countries, other nations?
I think it's very clear that since taking office in 2009, President Obama has clearly made global food security a foreign policy priority. Starting in 2009, when they committed to invest up to $22 billion in agriculture to support smallholder farmers and improve food security. I think that it's showing a lot of intention that the president is leading.
Yes, the president said actually, while in Senegal, that the U.S. wants to give assistance to Africa that will help people become self-sufficient, will lift people out of poverty, and also help to grow the economies of these nations. What kind of assistance should this be?
I think from what is already ongoing, programs like Feed the Future that President Obama launched in 2010, shortly after coming into office, are kind of the filling in the gaps where African governments have not managed to raise resources to do this. And this includes linking smallholder farmers to markets, for example, providing available technologies that will help to boost food security and especially production.
And indeed today, just today, Obama's administration released a statement saying that Feed the Future program has already reached about, 7 million households that actually has increased food productivity by as much as 70%. Is that something you can see when you travel across Africa and you've been there?
Obviously, I think the reality is that it's getting a lot better. There's still a lot of, a long way to go in terms of how many people are hungry on the continent today, but these steps are clearly laying a foundation for sustained agricultural growth and productivity in these countries.
And it's not just one program. At the G8 summit this year, President Obama announced the new Alliance for Food Security and Nutrition, in which the G8 countries, African partner countries, and the private sector would come together to help about 50 million people in the sub-Saharan region get out of poverty in the next 10 years. Is this kind of what you call a mighty force converging here?
I think it's great that we realize that no single actor can do this. Governments alone are falling short of this. And the private sector has a key role to play in terms of providing technology and access to other facilities that government has not been able to. So I think it's helping to shift that balance, and it's enabling more farmers to be reached because of the leveraging of resources from different factors.
There is a challenge. The African nations, what's their role? What are they doing?
Good point. I think that they are also, at a point where they are recognizing that the importance of investing in agriculture is not something that can wait. The governments of Africa have committed themselves to invest up to 10% of their national budgets in agriculture. Some of them have made that commitment, others have not. 2014 marks the year of agriculture in Africa, and I think the African Union there's indication that they are actually trying to hold themselves accountable.
And along with actually the 10% requirement investment in agriculture, there's also the question of fighting corruption, because a lot of money gets lost. Now, how do you enforce that? How do you verify that?
What needs to happen first is strengthening institutions, for example. There's lots of leakages that shouldn't be in the first place. And I think what's exciting about the new alliance is actually calling countries to make the necessary key policy reforms before a lot of these investments are made. I think this is what is going to turn that around.
And would you say more commitment from African nations than even from the donors and other foreign bodies would be key?
That is absolutely right. And I think that's already happening. So African governments are calling on to their other development partners to support or fill in the gaps where they haven't managed to do it themselves.
Right, because they know where the shoe hurts most. Thank you very much, Faustine, for joining us today. Faustine Wabwire is from Bread for the World. Thanks for joining us today.